Hey everybody, we are back tonight with Brandy of Brandy Burrow Astrology, and we are going to be talking about the Ana Walshe case. Just to be clear, this is being filmed just so that we have like a timeline of what we're doing here. This is being filmed on January 18th, and I wanted to make mention of that since this case is active. It is going on right now. Just to kind of have a timestamp on our end as to when we are doing this in the first place. So today, this case, she went missing. Last time she was seen was at their house on January 1st, around 1:15 in the morning, between 1 and 1:30 in the morning. So we kind of split the difference at 1:15. Then she supposedly went to, was it Washington, D.C., I believe, for work?
Supposedly got called into work on New Year's at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That's the story.
And supposedly then got on a plane, took an Uber sometime between 6 and 7 in the morning on January 1st, gets on a plane, and then January 4th rolls around and her work reports her as missing. Her husband does not.
Her husband does not. And it was verified that she never got on a plane.
Yes, it was. Yes. Yeah, the plane thing, the whole plane story is the husband, Brian Walshe, who appears to be an incredibly busy individual. Just from everything that you go and read, story shit going on with him. This guy just kind of seems busy. I feel like my Virgo midheaven criticism is going to come out a little bit here, but I feel okay with that.
My Capricorn midheaven feels okay with it too.
Yeah, because today he was charged with right? He was charged with her murder.
Yes, he was charged with, I know he pled not guilty today.
Yes.
Charged with murder and mishandling of human remains.
Yeah. So should we take a look at the charts to see kind of what they look like?
See what's going on. She's last seen between 1 and 1:30 January 1st from, I believe, a friend who was at their house having dinner for New Year's, and he left around, I put around 1:30 a.m. is what he remembers.
Yeah.
So that's the last scene, official last scene. So great chart to start with.
Yes. Okay, let me get the photo. Is it this one? No, it's this one, I think. Okay, yes. Here we go.
Yes, here we go. So we have Ana represented by the ascendant ruler Venus in Capricorn in the 3rd house, and we'll use a co-ruler of the moon in Taurus in the 7th house.
Yes.
Perpetrator / killer, if she's dead, and we'll kind of get into that. It looks like she is going to be Mars, because the 7th house cusp is in Aries.
Yes. And with that moon as co-ruler, with that, like, I know the ruler of the ascendant isn't in the 7th house, but could that also like put her up close with the perpetrator or whatever at this point in time? Would you still read the moon that way?
Yes, absolutely. I would say she's on his turf. Their turf. On the perpetrator's turf. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that Venus.
You got her other ruler. Yeah, Venus right there. So close to the 4th house cusp. According to horary rules, I would go ahead and consider that 4th house.
Yeah, and that can be a death marker or marking, or like a start of a death pattern.
Yes, and there is, occurring to me as we're recording this. I remember reading from her family that she had called her mother and I believe sister around this time, and they missed the calls. But third house could also be like trying to communicate via phone as well. So
yeah, no, that makes total sense. The connecting aspect also of the third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then Saturn, like, because Saturn can be like she's not necessarily dead here, but like they I know there was something that I was reading today, and I, for the life of me, can't remember. I've read so many different articles, for the life of me, I can't remember where I read it, but there was something that came out where like they found a lot of blood in the basement of the house.
Yes, I believe with a bloody knife as well.
Yeah, like, and it was so much blood that they're pretty sure that she's departed, just by the amount. I think it's kind of interesting to see Saturn in the fourth here. Like, it feels like it kind of.
Yeah, you got where Saturn represents the physical body,
yes.
And it's in the fourth house of the home.
And it's also one of the rulers of the fourth too.
Yeah.
Which can point towards, not always, but can point towards like family involvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get the domestic aspect for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And the husband, Brian Walshe, has been charged with murder. So, law enforcement's pretty sure she's not alive to do that. So yeah, the last scene chart for her is going to have, death markers if we have the right time. And it looks like we do. And so, because you got the death markers popping up, you got, Saturn in the fourth, you got her ruler almost in the fourth, because you want to look at, for death markers, 8th house, 12th house, 4th house, all indicate endings.
Yeah. What about Mars in the 8th?
Yeah, so this is representing the perpetrator, and so many things I don't like about this Mars.
Yeah.
One, it's retrograde, and I use AstroGold, and so a retrograde planet shows up with red degrees. That's how I know on here that it's retrograde, just in case someone's looking at it. But yeah, it's retrograde. It's in Gemini. It's actually, kind of starting to slow down, and in the 8th house of death.
For this one, if we're going off of like, the 8th house, and just to be clear for everybody watching this, when we talk about the 8th house in death, we're talking about it from like a horary perspective, not like if you've got lots of planets in your 8th house, that means you're going to die. I mean,
you will not die. There's actually lots of celebrities have very full 8th houses.
Yeah,
we're doing well.
Yeah. So nobody take it like we're trying to say people that have stuff in the 8th house, or this is strictly from a horary lens.
It doesn't mean you're going to die, and it doesn't mean you're going to be a killer. We're looking at forensic astrology, and 8th house is a death marker in true crime. So yeah.
But with Taurus on the house of this, or on the cusp of this house, Taurus being like the throat, the neck, right? Venus,
ruled by Venus. Yep.
Ruled by Venus in Capricorn, which limiting, restricting.
Yeah.
I know we were talking
Saturn ruled sign, and so yeah, definitely restriction. Like
strangulation, or
that would be, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, she hasn't been found.
Yeah.
There's been evidence that he did internet searches about dismembering bodies
on the son's iPad.
And there's been bloody, I think, hacksaws, bloody knives. And so we don't know how she died. We have some clues about maybe what he has done to hide the body, or I hate to use the word dispose, but dispose of the body. But the manner of death, looking at this, I'm thinking she was probably strangled.
Yeah. Yeah. And anything that came after would have been post-mortem, like.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. Yeah, you got clues like Taurus, you got Venus, you got Capricorn and Saturn energy. It just kind of putting all those pieces together really makes me think of strangulation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that we were talking about the possible dismemberment thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mars can signify this in Gemini though too. Because Gemini is, I don't know, there's not that Gemini energy makes me think of dismemberment, but there's the multiple aspect of it. There's something about, yeah, Mars and Gemini in this context that does kind of, I could see that perhaps.
Yeah, and Gemini is like information. If he has Google searches,
yeah,
Gemini might be pointing at this, like, hey, something's searched.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Uranus right there in the 7th house, getting ready to be in the 8th house as well. It's getting pretty close. And that's actually something I took from Kirsty McIntosh, who wrote this amazing criminal astrology. You can see the Uranus aspects and Mars, when you got the dismemberment, and maybe not. And I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible, because I mean, we're talking about a person here, but when we're talking about the body maybe being in different areas, or
yeah, that with the Uranus energy, with the Gemini energy, that seems possible. Like, do you think she'll be found if he doesn't like talk?
I don't know how to say it, but just to be just completely on it, I think parts of her might be found.
Yeah.
Because you got the sun at the bottom of the chart, not real visible, but you got the moon setting. Or not, I'm sorry, not setting, but in the 7th house there. And it's like, I partially.
Something comes to light, but just not the entire.
Yeah.
I do hope they'll, I mean, they clearly have a strong case against him to already have charged him with this without a body, but I'm sure it would give them an even stronger case if they even if they had some of it. So hopefully.
Yeah. One thing we can pull from this chart is some details about who this perpetrator is. Yeah. I mean, things are already pointing towards the husband, Brian Walshe. He has been arrested for this crime, and police think they have, plenty of evidence to point him, or point the, suspicion at him. But, we got the Aries ruled 7th house, Mars in Gemini in retrograde. The guy is already in legal trouble before this. So the retrograde makes me like, okay, this is someone already like on the radar.
Yeah. And can't the ruler of like the 7th and the 8th kind of point to like somebody who's maybe not that much on the up and up as it is?
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like he was selling fake Warhol paintings or.
Yeah, he was arrested, and I believe, like, going from memory, so if you guys are watching, you might want to correct me, I don't know, but it's like, I think, wasn't he waiting sentencing?
Yes, I believe he was.
I think he's already convicted. Yeah. Selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. Yeah. So money crimes. So yeah, that second house also eighth house, his second, because it's second from the seventh. Money stuff.
And the busyness.
Yes. Gemini's very active, busy.
And Mars is too in the retrograde motion of that. Like I picture like when I've read, like when you read like the shit that he's done before this, I picture somebody who's like internally, but it's like, I don't know. It just feels kind of, I don't know, just busy.
Busy,
but
like an overactive mind, or I got all these ideas doesn't mean they're great ideas, but
yeah, yeah, it's like a little energizer bunny. Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. So you have his rulership in Gemini. You have Uranus there in the seventh house, which I think also gives you some clues about them, whoever the killer is. I'm going to just say him because I think, it's pretty obvious, but you got some impulse issues here. No control with impulses is kind of what I'm getting from a Mars Uranus placements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Should we look at the last time the phone was pinged?
Yeah, so we actually have an exact time. Last time Ana Walshe's phone pinged was 3:14 a.m. January 2nd, I believe, like a mile from the house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
ascendant in Scorpio, not a good sign. Not a good sign. It's in the sign of death.
And that Mars is in the seventh. Mars has moved along to the seventh.
The moon is there still.
And like right. Yeah. And the wedges, you bring the wedges up because in the mapping, which we're going to get into in just a little bit, the wedges are good to map. Yeah,
they are. Another Kirsty McIntosh fun fact. But gosh, this chart, look what happens to Saturn. Saturn goes from the last chart in the house, in the fourth house, so in the home, now to the third house. When the phone pings, the body is in a car.
Yeah.
So that phone must be there. Yeah. So yeah, he's I think the phone pinged because he is getting rid of evidence.
Yeah. And then is there anything else that, oh yeah, there was something else stood out. Okay, so like in the other chart, we had the ruler of the fourth and the fourth. Mm-hmm. In this chart, we also have the rulers of the fourth and the fourth. We've got Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces in the fourth. We have Neptune also in the fourth. I don't know. To me, when you see both of these
strong houses, they're like anchored down with those planets.
Yeah, it really kind of brings up, this really does feel like domestic shit.
Yeah. It definitely feels domestic, and Anna's family has claimed that she was trying to reach out. I think she called her mom on Christmas and asked her to come the next day. And I believe her mom lives overseas in Serbia. And so it's like, there was some sort of urgency for her trying to reach out to family.
Yeah.
So we do, and the way these fourth houses are showing up absolutely looks domestic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and one thing, Venus right there with Pluto. I forgot to mention that on the last chart, but that's her ruler in the 1 a.m. chart. Definitely in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And now that's kind of, was Venus where was Venus? Was it before? No, it was after
In the
sorry.
1 a.m. chart from January 1st, it's Venus is right there with Pluto, both 27 degrees in the third house.
Does it come before Pluto or after?
Right after. So Pluto's at 39 minutes and Venus is at 42 minutes. So it comes after.
Okay. I was thinking maybe like in this one, it's like showing from that first chart, she's perhaps out of danger because she's
Leaving it.
past. Yeah.
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 The danger is now gone.
Yeah.
Kind of in an odd way. Yeah.
That doesn't sound, I'm sorry if that didn't come out real sensitive. I didn't mean it. No.
No, I mean, it's what it is. And I got to say, like, when you're doing horary astrology and someone comes to you and says, and this comes up and clients are asking about these things, am I safe with my partner? One thing we can see, if Venus is coming into Pluto or an aspect like that, we're like, no, you're in danger. But if we see something like this, where Venus is actually separating, we would tell the person, you were in danger, but whatever you've done or what changes you've made has now put you out of danger and you're leaving danger. So yeah, this is definitely like, it's past, but unfortunately it's because she's probably not alive.
Yeah.
The danger has already happened.
Yeah. Should I, was there anything else you wanted to say about this chart, or should I turn it over to you so that you can?
Let's look at some maps.
Okay. I'm going to give you, let me see how to do that. Hold on.
I get to be in charge now.
Yes, you do. Okay. I'm going to make you host for a second.
All right. I am the host. So we're going to look at a map. So one thing we can do when someone hasn't been found, you can actually map where they might be using the astrology. I'm going to start with this one first. So you should see this little red, I'm losing my words. I really need Mercury to move. Marker. Anyway, this red marker is like their house where they were living, the rental house, where she's last seen. And so one thing, and my starting point when we're looking at mapping where someone is at, I like to start with the ascendant, which the last seen chart, January 1st, 1 a.m., the ascendant is around 26 degrees Libra. And so what we would do is we would start at this house and we would basically find the degree mark of that, which is going to be 206 degrees.
You want to turn it to the 360.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The 360.
Turn it into that. Libra starts at 180 and then it's 26 degrees. So we're going to add 26 degrees to that. That's kind of how we get there. So 206 degrees. If we were to go straight down, if you can see this cursor, this would be 180. So we're going to go a little bit this way to make it 206 degrees. It goes right into a pond.
It does.
It's right into a pond. I'm curious if this pond's being searched.
Also, that was in the, that Venus was in the third house, right?
Yes.
That could indicate something local, right? Something more
in a neighborhood or somewhat close.
Yeah.
And his planet ruling him would be Mars and Gemini, another Gemini clue that he's not going outside the area, not too far.
Yeah. So that actually, yeah.
It'd be a good place to search. Or I would say this, if you kind of follow that line, you run into a highway. I don't know if he's going down a highway and finding areas off that too, but I would definitely be searching right where that line goes. And it could even be like he's coming out here where there's not a lot of houses or, I don't know what's there, but there could be some remote areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I would like to know exactly where the phone pinged. They only said about a mile from his house. But I believe when that phone is pinging on January 2nd at 3:14 a.m., he's actually got the body in the car. So it's probably when he's hiding it, or,
Yeah.
get rid of the evidence. Kind of got to be in that area too, in that radius.
Yeah, I would.
Now here's another theory. Here's another, let me pull up a separate map. And this is kind of a expanded view.
Okay.
Can you see this with the blue line, like
the little box?
Yeah, let me move it over so I can see it. Okay. So right here at the bottom is their house. Up here where this red marker is, it says 331 Paradise Road. It's a Whole Foods, there's a liquor store. These are the dumpsters they searched because he said he went to Whole Foods. Police searched these dumpsters, and found a bloody hacksaw, found women's clothing, found Anna's COVID card.
Okay.
And his phone, I believe, pinged in this area. So they know he got rid of some evidence here. If you were to map the degrees from here to here, if she was, I don't know if she's anywhere near here, or if he just got rid of some of like the evidence here, but this puts you in like Pisces territory, which could be that fourth house that we see when the phone pings.
Which is anything from 330 to 360, right?
Exactly. And this is about 345 degrees, close to Neptune on this chart for when the phone pings. So
yeah,
I want to be sensitive, but when you get Uranus in play, which was in the 7th house when she's last seen, you usually get, I don't know if she's going to be found in one area.
Yeah, I think it's and just assuming that the astrology is correct, assuming that what they think, what law enforcement also seems to think, or whatever seems to think happened to her, is correct. My guess is if you are dismembering a person, I would think one of the reasons one might do that would be to move, to not put them all in one place.
Right. And if you follow the line that Uranus is on, it's 15 degrees Taurus. It's going to be, if you go straight up at 0 degrees, so you're going to go about 45 degrees. Yeah. It might put you in this Bay Area.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of water around there.
We normally see like Scorpio when you're looking at water, or water signs. In the chart where the phone last pings, it is a Scorpio rising. Could indicate if she's in
Pisces, and that Pisces 4th house too.
Yeah, we could get the water indications there. And sometimes with astrology, you can actually play with the words and names. You got Saturn in Aquarius as a body. Aquarius is an air sign, but it's the water bearer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I would not rule water out by any means. I'm almost thinking that might be.
Yeah. It would, not that I'm running around killing people or dismembering people, but having all that water, if I did, having all that water around would definitely be, but I will say this guy doesn't seem that bright.
No,
God.
obviously not.
Thank God for that. Just I don't know. It seems like he did all this with an ankle monitor on.
Yes, from the previous crime. He's probably tracked. And probably his phone's pinging. He's tracked. Her phone is pinging.
It kind of makes me wonder. In that first chart with Uranus, that was the one with it in the 7th, correct? Yeah. 7th. It does make me wonder. I know we talked about this briefly before. maybe this wasn't entirely something that was like premeditated.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
that
'cause you
makes
got
it any
Mars
better.
in your, yeah.
I mean, it's still fucked up regardless, but it does, even though he did all those searches, but all those searches were after, right? All of those searches about how to dismember, they were after.
From what I understand, it was after she was last seen, after she disappeared.
So it is kind of like, I wonder if, and you're honest, be like shocking shit, right? Like doing something quick, not really,
Unpredictable.
yeah, unpredictable, not
Yeah.
really thinking about what you're doing, just doing.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds me of the case of Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones. If you look at his forensics, there's a lot of Uranus at play, and the story goes he was probably murdered accidentally by someone being kind of rough in a pool. Not to get in that long story, but like that was really strong in the chart when someone's killed and it's not really planned. It's like it
Yeah,
just happens.
it just kind of, yeah. So I do wonder if this could have been something kind of, you know, along those lines. Terrible. I mean, obviously terrible regardless, but
It's terrible. One other thing that kind of bothers me, just because I've actually seen this in a case that I worked on for a family. Venus, and I don't know if you want to pull up the chart. Venus is right by Pluto, as we were discussing.
which one would you like me to?
The 1 a.m. the last scene, January 1st.
Oh, I can't. You're still the host. Hold on.
Oh, let me do it. Let me like take it off. How do I get myself off host? Okay.
Don't worry.
While I'm like trying to figure it out. Venus is right by Pluto. I have seen where Pluto can represent trash, dumpsters, landfills.
That makes sense because if it's yes, yeah, that, yeah. And like sewers also, sewers can be like a Pluto
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
What does
So
that do with the purging?
the purging.
Yeah.
That kind of bothers me too. And we've already seen that police has found evidence in dumpsters. I don't.
Yeah.
That's another clue where she might be. So, and that's what we're doing. I couldn't tell you. I just can say, hey, there's certain things that point.
Yeah.
Water, dumpster. Yeah.
Wasn't there a water treatment plant on that map near that pond?
Let's look, because I'm still a host. Let's see.
Or water department?
Water department and a lily pond there.
I wonder if that water department has any trash, has any dumpsters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bring
I'd be
book
interested
water.
to know what they're searching, because you know they're out there looking at certain areas, and that would be very interesting to know.
Where does that pond go?
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna pull it up.
Because it looks like it's got that little line river thing.
Yeah, let's see. So Ellie was amazing detective to find our address of where they live. I was like looking and I couldn't find it. I handed over to Ellie. I swear you had it in minutes.
I can be good at finding things sometimes.
Okay, so it's like a brook that goes into Erin River.
Okay.
And then Erin River kind of goes into that bay area.
Okay, so it would eventually go out.
It could, depending on the currents, I guess. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and of course, we talked about Uranus, meaning things are here, things are there, things are
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of,
So yeah. I don't know what, and again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I don't know what the point of dismembering would be unless maybe just easy transport, but yeah, it makes me think that's the plan.
Yeah. Easy. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It kind of feels.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm really not trying to be insensitive about this.
No, no, I know. I was trying to think of a different way to say it because it does feel kind of like, but yeah, easier transport. Or if you wanted to move the person a bunch of different places. Yeah.
So there we go. So what's your thoughts, Ellie?
Well, I'm glad he's stupid. I'm
The
sorry.
guy's an idiot. I'll just say it. Like, we see him today, was it today or yesterday, in handcuffs with the police, and he is smiling and like laughing, like it's cute. And thank you for making yourself host. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, but this motherfucker, there's a picture of him. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Your wife is missing. And if it wasn't you, aren't you upset that you're in custody and can't go look for her? Like,
yeah,
you look like an idiot.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that he's stupid.
Yeah.
Because that bodes well for some sort of closure for the family and for her. God, I feel bad for their kids.
Yeah. Their kids are in state custody. I believe they might have been given to his mother, but the kids have lost their
both.
parent.
Yeah, losing both. I mean, losing one tragically would be hard enough. Losing two, fuck. Like,
yeah.
My heart goes out to anybody who happens to be affected by this, but especially for those kids. Like, damn, that's just
absolutely awful. She has 3 children. I mean, Anna's beautiful. So, really smart. She has a government job in DC, I believe. I can't remember exactly what she did, but it's just horrible. And I hope, answers come out. I hope he gives up where she's at so they can find her and give family closure. And I'll just say it. These charts, like you said, they really point to some domestic stuff. I think police have the right guy. I do.
I think so too. I really, and I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
And we don't usually do that. We usually try to be careful, but
for this one, I feel both Brandy and I feel pretty confident that they have the right guy. And
all right.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and head off, but do you want to share where you can be found?
Yes, Brandy, burrowastrology.com, where you can book astrology or tarot readings. And I'm also on Instagram and YouTube at Brandy Burrow Astrology. And what about you, Ellie?
You can find me at saturnseason.com. You can find me on, I feel silly saying all this. You can find me on Instagram. It's like massive self-promotion. You can find me on Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology, and you can find me on YouTube at Let's Fuck with Astrology. No, I took it's not Let's Fuck with Astrology anymore because I took the fuck out. Let's F with Astrology.
Let's F with Astrology.
YouTube wouldn't circulate the videos when it was Let's Fuck with Astrology.
Let's F with Astrology. I know. Damn it. Well, thank you for having me on to discuss the case, and maybe as more comes out, we can go back and look at the charts again.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what else, what does come out, and kind of other things that might point to it, even just for research like, oh yeah
as a good case study. Yeah.
All right, and I guess we will see you all later. Okay. Shit. Hold on.